Welcome to the Latam MedTech Leaders Podcast, a conversations with leaders who have succeeded or plan to succeed in Latin America. Please subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, etc. Today, our guest is Yoku Sashida, CEO at Soluciones Kenko in Mexico. Kenko helps medical device innovators develop their products for the Mexican market. And Kenko, I'm sorry, Yoku, it's great to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, Julio. I'm very excited about this conversation and talk more about Mexico and Latin America.
Beautiful. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so Yoku, let's get started with your story, with your journey. How is it that you got to where you are today?
Yes, it's kind of complicated because I started as a student of biomedical engineer here in Guadalajara, Mexico, and we start to develop a product who is a electrocardiogram that with just touching the superior part of the chest of the patient, we could know the electrical activity of their heart like an electrocardiogram. So as entrepreneurs, we start to develop our product and also find investment to develop the technology. And we reached the one difficult step to to reach or to obtain the certification, all the medical certifications, and then we start is- to develop a company who can create a great uh, path to accelerate this process in Mexico. And at the end, we create this infrastructure to take our product like the easy glove, the one who start everything, to obtain the medical qualifications here in Mexico. And nowadays, well, our product now say saves lives in the medical in the Mexican market. And and we noticed that the main business or the the difference of Soluciones Kenko or Kenko Solutions is that we accelerate this process here in Mexico of different technologies because we already take that hard part path to to take these technologies into the market. Yeah.
Hmm, beautiful, beautiful. I'm glad that you're doing this type of work. Was there anything you wanted to say? I'm sorry, I think I interrupted you.
No, actually, yes. Well, I this is the quick version of
Okay,
my story, but to pass from an entrepreneur to have this company of medical or regulation affairs, it's been kind of hard, but actually here we have great opportunities in Mexico because we were fortunate or we were um, lucky to get the infrastructure of the state here in Mexico of Jalisco, which is investing in new medical devices,
nice.
opportunities. Actually, there is a lot of programs of the government to support these initiatives, and we were on that path and in the right spot in the right time. Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's kind of lucky, I think.
I'm so happy to see local governments in Mexico supporting the work of entrepreneurs like yourself. And medical innovation specifically is an industry that impacts so many stakeholders. I mean, patients, scientists, inventors, generates high income or high profile jobs for an area, etc. So it's a fascinating thing to know that Mexico is in the path of supporting medical innovation.
Yes, and I think that it's kind of sometimes it loses power to the initiatives of different governments because Mexico is actually a really big country, and with a lot of states that not all of them have this infrastructure of technology. But we have the lucky to be in Guadalajara, which is a state that's, or Jalisco, which is a state that supports a lot of technological industries, big enterprise such as Arrow Electronics, Samina. There is a lot of really huge companies that work here in the area, and they promote this innovation of medical device technologies. Actually, they create a cluster of biomedical engineers, and this synergy of work with also one of our biggest clients is the ITESUM, which is one of the um, biggest university is the biggest university here in Mexico. and and well, they start to create these new programs of tech salud and medical device development. So they start to create a hub of innovation here in the area to support that, no? So they needed us to be part of the
The
value change
ecosystem.
of the medical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice, Joku. All right. So let's start. Let's speak. I'm sorry, about trends in the Mexican market that you see happening today that are kind of beneficial to your work. Any political, economic, social trends that you see happening?
Yes, of course. Actually, there is a high trend in the Mexico environment of medical devices, because we have not reached the total um, IT transformation. These things for the medical industry are kind of new here in Mexico. All the health tech data, these new solutions, actually, the the medicals or the doctors are looking for these new ways to do things, because they also see like the innovation in other countries, and they want to apply it, but they don't reach the technologies and some kinds. The That makes that without any support of interest of companies to achieve the medical devices market here in Mexico, that makes a lot of transactions informally. I and that makes a lot of intermediate in a lot of intermediatives industries or companies that start to increase the price to a level that is not comparable to the price in other states or the
Okay, you mean
original price
intermediaries,
market.
middlemen in the chain,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
supply
that
chain.
makes a
Yeah.
lot of middlemen that rich market, but actually the companies in other countries didn't realize that they are start to moving new technology to the country, and there is a high trend to this digital transformation, and also this telemedicine. It's also a thing that they are looking a lot.
Yeah, telemedicine is a big, big trend. I know that. All right. So let's talk about your work, your specific work. Let's talk about the challenges you face while developing products in Mexico, obtaining regulatory approvals at coffee Freeze. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, of course. We start since the 5 years ago. So uh, in order to construct or development lines to manufacture and certificate of or industry or company, we face a lot of issues. The first one was to know the right path, because the government says that we can find everything online, but the truth is that we just have like one paper and that's all, and we have to develop all the the significant significantly values of these certifications. And we start to create this plan to produce or construct uh, soluciones Kenko that can have these electrical mechanical constructive devices or developed devices here in the assembly line. And well, we start as an entrepreneurs, but we go to the city of Mexico to reach more capital. Since then, we start to construct the line to develop the quality system and also start the certification with Cofepris. Cofepris is kind of the FDA here in Mexico, and they give l- some rules to follow. And at the end, sometimes well the paperwork gets out of time because have a lot of delays. They are they were told me that they are kind of 17 70 people who are flying all the Mexican country to develop or to certificate industries. So uh, 70 people for a whole country is kind of a small teamwork, and that makes sometimes the process to be kind of slow. But nowadays they are now improving new technology to be quicker in their in or faster in the in the in their paperwork. And well, it's kind of a great thing to us here in Guadalajara. And sometimes it's kind of frustrating to don't obtain the information as quick as you might be changing or as the market needs here in as an entrepreneur, as a company. But they are starting to change now, and we we also obtain the the certificate of good practice in manufacture in 1 year. And after that, we now can uh, take some developments into our assembly lines in just few months. And then those companies or those technologies, like in 4 months, they already have their beta production, and also with the coffee pre certificate. So we start to make a faster um, organization of the documents or the the things that we have to present to Cofepris. And we could have, well, new times of development medical technology, because we plan our our company to be able to do that. We also have different kinds of regulations, such as type 1, type 2, type 3, depending of the medical device that we are going to manufacture or also help to import here to Mexico. And we create a strategy to develop that certification, because we know what are the the difficulties in the medical in the with coffee breeze actually. And we reduce that pain of the new enterprise to enter here in the market. um, in order to do that, well, we use our company as a manufacturer. So we import different mm, materials to make the final assembly and also the label project And with that label project, the assembly, we make also the translation about of the manuals, because everything has to be in Spanish, and the regulation also says that all your all your assembly process have to be in the same language with your specifications. And we work on that to make to the company that want to bring the technology here to Mexico, well, a more faster um, development or go to market time, actually.
Interesting. That sounds like a lot of work, huh? To develop something in Mexico.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, and it's not a linear path. I mean,
Yeah.
we now try to make this like a linear regression about our work, and to provide that to our clients and companies that want to work with Soluciones Kenko. But to obtain that linear regression
Yeah.
of our work, well, it's been like just random points of a lot of work that sometimes we have to, well, to learn about how things didn't work, and now improve it.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about your portfolio. Right now, you have the glove, right? Is that your intellectual property or is somebody else's intellectual property?
Yes, we have three technological developments, and we have actually three different patents
Okay.
of intellectual property. And yeah, but we also work with other
Okay.
entrepreneurs or industries to develop their technology
Okay.
that we don't have the
Yeah.
intellectual
The
property
IP.
here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's the IP.
in regards to, let's talk about commercialization. In regards to the three IP assets that you have today, are you commercializing any of them? I mean, are you commercializing the glove right now?
Yes, actually, we have the glove in the final process, but we launched a light version of the glove who that we already commercialized here in Mexico. We have a lot of e-commerce
Yeah.
with the medical industry, but we also have a great alliance with the leaders of the medical commercialization here in Mexico. They have, I don't know, the 60% of market shares here in the area, um, because they are, well, they are so big, and they have now this market access. So sometimes they ask us for a development to have more market share. And sometimes there are some connectors that they need to create an interface within two products, also some IoT to reach their commercialization products. And they also are always looking for new technologies to start to incorporate in their portfolios.
Okay. Okay. So the glove, if I understand correctly, you're trying to commercialize the glove through distributors, third parties, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
the and that's because as an entrepreneurs in our story, they're big bodies of here in Mexico where the distributors,
Yeah.
right? We don't have actually a really good um, industry here in Mexico
Mm,
to that have their own brands. So the big part of the pie is distributed to the
distributors.
distributors.
Yeah.
Distributors, yes. So they have kind of power of distribution,
Sure.
and they support us in the start. uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So how are sales going for the glove? I mean, who is the buyer of the glove?
Well, actually, there is we want this this phrase that we want to make electrocardiogram a reliable product such an pulse oximeter. So we are providing these gloves or these portable uh, electrocardiograms to medical medical professionals. They buy their own product. There is no the product is not as a there is not a device for the big consumers such as the hospital or the institution. The medical the doctors want to equip themselves with more
Okay.
devices,
So
so they
okay.
start to buying
Hmm.
to improve their services.
So it's retail sales direct to consumer, and the consumer is the physician, the cardiologist,
Yes,
or
yes,
internal
actually, the
medicine doctor.
that's
So
the
any doctor that who wants to do an AKG on a patient during the consultation.
yes,
So they put the
yes, of
glove
course.
in the patient's chest, right? And it will
Yes,
measure the signals. Interesting.
yes, and for other countries, sounds like we were pitching our idea in London a few years ago, and the investors told us something like, "Well, why do you need to buy a glove if we have a electrocardiogram or different devices here in the corner?" And of course, well, yes, they have cardioprotect buildings all over the place, and they don't have the deficiencies of our medical device structure here in Mexico or healthcare industry. And that's one of the biggest opportunities that we saw from Latin America, actually, because we we start to make promotion not only in Mexico, Colombia, Argentina. They're also like the same structure, or they have the same pains
Yes,
of the healthcare systems. That makes a big opportunity to other technologies to 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 take that market share. Actually, we made it because here in Mexico it's kind of incredible, but to take an ECG to a patient, it's a pain for the physician. And actually, they, in order to rely on that pain, they buy their own stuffs to make faster services. And that is the value of the easy glove here in the Latin America. Yeah.
I
uh,
see. I see. Huh. All right. So let's talk about the other two products that you have developing in development. Could you please describe them? I mean, what problem do they solve?
yeah, yeah, of course. Actually, one is a really social product that we have because we wanted, and it's our mark in the in the world, as we say. It's the name is retro CPR. It's CPR practice. It's the name in English. In Mexico, it's RS Práctica, and it's a really reliable device that helps students of different communities to make the CPR and learn that CPR. And actually, we have these initiatives of learning CPR in women. Actually, we are the first uh, tool for learning CPR for women, and we have this new anatomical uh, figure in the product that wants to avoid this issue of doing some CPR
Oh,
in the woman.
I
So
think it's called a
yeah,
simulator, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a,
actually
like a
a
manichae
simulator.
simulator. Yeah,
Yes,
for
it's a
students.
mannequin a simulator.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting. All right, all right. And what about the third
Uh,
one? Yeah.
yes, and the third one is one trackable medical devices, because here in Mexico industry, we well we the hospitals or some entities don't buy the the big the big devices, right? They just borrow
List them.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, they list the devices, and with that we make some trackable devices to know how time is turning on, how times it changed the
Oh.
different consumibilities, and we now
Oh.
can track how much is using the device their yes the industry or the
Interesting. This is
hospital.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and with that, well, the distributions or uh, distributors,
Yeah, distributors. Distributors.
distributors, yeah, the distributors can now optimize their sales force
Sure.
and
Exactly.
know more
About the
information
usage.
about the devices. Yes,
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
that's
actually,
that's
we
great.
adapt these devices for
Okay, so we're
different.
talking about biomedical equipment, big equipment like X-ray machines and things of that nature, CT scans
Yes,
or whatever it is that is
ventilators.
ventilators, yeah, capital equipment in a hospital, and hospitals usually lease these from distributors, right? That's what you're saying,
Yes,
and they pay a monthly fee or something, and the distributor needs to know what usage the client or the hospital is having on the equipment.
yes,
Okay.
and with that
Hmm.
information, well, they can optimize a lot of
Sure.
resources.
Yeah. That's great. How did that
Yeah.
idea come about?
Well, as I was saying in during the podcast, we have a great alliance with distributors,
Oh.
and they ask us for this development,
Okay, they
right?
told you about the problem and they suggested a
Yes,
solution. Okay, you guys started working
yes,
on the solution. Okay, but you guys
and
own the
it's
IP, the intellectual property. It's your
yes,
intellectual. Oh, that's fascinating. That's great, Yoku.
yeah,
Wow.
it's
Oh,
kind of fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
our our main idea, and also our biggest uh, product that we work on.
Okay. So, aside from these three products that are you own, you said also that you also that you help third parties, inventors, etc., develop their own products. Are you working on something exciting in that front?
Yes, actually, well, we are now developing four different intellectual properties for from the ITESM, which is one of the biggest university. I cannot talk very explicit about these inventions, but they start to develop new ways to be faster in their procedures of different industries here in Mexico, to create a more safety place to do procedures and more faster. Yes, they're kind of doing that development, and we are helping in different devices.
Nice, very nice. All right, Joko, we're close to the end of the show. So, the last question I have for you is what would you say to the CEO of a medical device company in the United States or Europe that is just exploring the Mexican market? What would be your best advice to him or her?
I think that don't try to do it on your own, and also find these clusters in different uh, states, such as Jalisco, have a lot of knowledge about how to introduce products more faster in the Mexican market. And it's a great advice, because sometimes we hear it like, okay, now this new brand is coming and they start to develop the a whole new infrastructure or of commercialization here in Mexico. And it's like, well, sometimes it could be more faster and they could avoid different problems actually with the authorities, uh,
Yes.
knowing someone who has already passed those steps. So I think that that's my main advice. And sometimes think it's like incursing into the Mexican market and Latin American market. I think for me, it's kind of think out of the box, and that happens for me as a CEO here in Mexico. When I go to London, to Europe, the US, I say like, well, here is everything more faster. Here is everything more. Um, it's more direct, to the point. They don't lose time. And sometimes in Mexico, it's kind of hard or frustrating, these things about the efficiency of getting things done. But once you know people that already have this hard part path to avoid these issues, well, you start to work like in your country. And yes, it's absolutely a thing to think outside of the box. It's here. There are more possibilities, and we also have this flexibility about some things, and the price to pay is not always as big as it could be in these countries,
In
such
other countries, yeah, in foreign
in other
countries.
countries.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. All right, excellent, excellent, Yoku. Thank you so much for being the show today. It's been a great conversation, and I look forward to being in touch.
Yeah, sure, Julio. We'll be in touch very soon, and thank you for the invitation.
All right,
I
Yoku.
hope this information could be uh, great for some other CEO. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the whole idea here. The spirit of the podcast is to show the challenges that Latin America presents, and also how to overcome those challenges, and to show that Latin America is a place of opportunity. Of course, sometimes it's difficult, but the reward is right there. I mean, it's a big market for medical technology companies from the United States and Europe to enter. Specifically the
Yes,
Mexican
perfect.
market is a very well developed market. Is the top with Brazil is a top economy in Latin America. So it's certainly an attractive market, and we need to have more people like you who are experts in the local market to guide other companies in their journey
Yes.
into Mexico, because patients need access to new technology. That's the bottom line.
Yes, of course, and they are looking for,
Yeah,
and they have the needs actually.
exactly. The needs is there. The needs is there. All
Yeah.
right, Yoku. Bye.
Perfect, Julio. Thank you. Bye.